back to my channel. So I know I don't usually do a lot of sit-down chatty videos, but the topic that this video is about is a little bit more informational and complicated than my typical videos, so I thought that this would just be the best way to do it. Ever since I did a YouTube video on how I edit my Instagram photos, I've been getting a lot of questions about how I edit my YouTube videos. So I want to start talking about the equipment I use, from the camera to the tools to the program that I use to edit, and then I'll kind of do a voiceover within the program about kind of just tips and tricks that I like to use to make my YouTube videos look the way that they do. So I'm just gonna get right into it. The camera that I'm using to film right now is the Sony a6000, and I'm using the 35mm lens. I really like this camera because it has autofocus, and the lens that I use, it has a very blurred out background, and I just kind of like the way that that looks in my videos personally. It's really easy to use and really light, so I can either use it to just kind of do a DIY video, stationary, or I can take it with me anywhere and I can film, lookbooks and travel diaries and things like that. Before the start of this year, I was actually using a different camera before, and I think that's the camera that I have in my How I Edit My Instagram Photos video, and that was the Canon Rebel T5, and I would usually use a 50mm lens for that one. It kind of had the same effect. It had a blurred out background whenever you're kind of filming whatever you're focusing on, and I wouldn't recommend that camera for filming just because it doesn't have autofocus, and my Sony a6000 does. So I guess if you're filming really just stationary videos and you're not really ever moving the camera, then that would be a good choice, especially for beginners, because it's really easy to use. But I just like the Sony a6000 a lot better because I like to have a lot of camera angles in my videos. So it's really up to you. There is another camera that I also like to use, and that would be the Canon PowerShot G7X. I believe there's a second version of that camera out there now, but I have the first one, and I just use that camera for vlogging only. I really like it because it has an articulating screen, so I can kind of look at myself and make sure that I'm in focus while I'm filming. It's really light, really easy to use, and that's just kind of what I used when I was in Paris and I was doing those vlogs. That's the camera that I used for my Belize travel diary. That's the main camera that I used. I like to use the Sony a6000 now just because it's a little bit better quality, and it's pretty much just as light. But for vlogging, I don't like my Sony a6000 because it doesn't have that articulating screen. There's one more camera that I like to use. I've actually only used it a couple times. I haven't really mastered it as much as I'd like to, and that would be the GoPro Hero Silver. I just used that when I was on my Belize trip because it's in the waterproof casing. It's waterproof. I really like the way that it looks underwater for that filming, and you can take pretty cool pictures underwater with it as well. But I know that I think the GoPro Hero 5 is out, and I don't think it needs a waterproof casing. So for filming, when I'm outside, lighting really isn't an issue. I kind of try to film in the shade during the day, but when I'm inside and filming, I usually like to film kind of just depending on my apartment, what the lighting looks like. Right now it's kind of midday, and I would say that the lighting is pretty good, but at night I have a studio light that I use for DIYs usually, or if I'm doing like a hairstyle video. I'll link it in the description down below, the lights that I'm using. I've been using them for, I want to say, over a year now. They're pretty inexpensive, and that's why I got them. and you know, they just do the job. I don't usually do voiceovers for videos, but for Christmas my husband actually got a new mic, and it's the Blue Yeti mic. I believe that's what it's called. So we've been trying to play around with that. I'd like to do more voiceover videos in the future, so I think I'm going to try and figure out how to use this in my videos more often. And I believe the program that we use with the mic is Audition. Lastly, the program that I use to edit my YouTube videos is called Adobe Premiere. I have been using it pretty much since the beginning of my YouTube channel. I think there are a few videos in the beginning of my channel where I'm using iMovie, just because that was the only thing that was on my MacBook at the time. I do have a subscription to the Creative Cloud, which is just you know, all the Adobe products put in together for your computer. So that counts as Photoshop, Lightroom. Those are all the things that I use for my blog and my Instagram, and Adobe Premiere is just one of those products. So that's what I use to edit my YouTube videos. And so yeah, let's just get into the voiceover portion. Okay, so here we are in my MacBook, and every time that I film a new video, I'll kind of take the SD card and I will put the video files in a folder on my desktop. So the most recent video that I'm going to be showing you guys today is just my time-lapse video, and that's what this is a picture of for my background. It's the time-lapse art piece that I did. So I'm going to open up that folder, and you can see that there's only 5 videos in here. These 3 are kind of named similarly because I filmed them with one camera, and these 2 are filmed similarly, or named similarly because I filmed them with another camera. And the reason that I did that was because I wanted to film the exact same thing simultaneously, just at different angles. So these 3 were filmed with my Sony a6000, and you can kind of see from the thumbnail here that they're very close up. They kind of have a little bit more depth, and that's just how I wanted one angle to be. And then this one was filmed with my Canon Rebel T5, which is it's kind of more of a flat light angle, and like I said, because that camera doesn't have autofocus, it wasn't really a big deal because it's just a stationary shot, whereas from a side angle there was a lot more movement because, like, if you can see, that's my arm right there. It needed to be a little bit more autofocused, and yeah, so I'm going to open up my Adobe Premiere file. I've already imported these video files into here, so I'm going to open this up. So I'm just going to explain it as easy as I can. I know a lot of people aren't familiar with Adobe Premiere, but hopefully you find this interesting anyway. So if you look over here, this is just the project that I have for that video. You can see here is where the video clips are. This is the song that I used, and some other little things that I have to make the video a little bit more interesting and edited, I guess. So I have the audio file muted so you can hear me while I'm talking about it, and you can kind of see here it looks like there's different pieces put together, and that is just because so if I put all of these video files, like, let's just pretend that I have nothing here on the bottom, I'm going to put it in V5. If I put all these videos together, I'm going to kind of show you, they're pretty long, and they come to over 25 minutes. So obviously I don't want a video that long. So the easiest way for me to put a video together, it's a little time consuming, but I will watch the video. Let me delete those audio files really quick. Okay, so when I am putting a video together, I'll kind of take the footage and I'll watch everything, and I will kind of only take the portions of it that I want to keep. So obviously I didn't keep that beginning because I was still trying to find the angle of the camera. But if you go a little bit further, this part just has a lot of movement. Here it looks like I'm just kind of showing the materials that I used for my art piece. So that was that first clip, and what I did was I kind of just cut that up, and that's everything that you see here in this first portion. So that was a long video. It was almost 3 minutes long, but I only ended up using this portion right here, which looks like it's a little bit over 10 seconds. So it can be a little bit time consuming, especially if you're filming longer videos, but my videos are pretty short for the most part. So I will kind of just go through those like 2-minute long intervals, and I'll cut up the pieces that I like. So over here, that's my art piece, and I'm just kind of dragging this cursor so you can see. I kept all this portion because that's just, I wanted to film the whole thing through, but I kind of sped it up in my, so let me delete this so you can see. So for this portion, I condensed this whole video into this just right here by speeding it up. So if you watch this kind of all the way through, you can see it's pretty slow and it takes me a while to kind of start. Let me move it a little bit more. And yeah, you can see I haven't even put that frame down, but I wanted to do kind of a time lapse for that video, and you can see everything in kind of a faster motion. My computer's kind of slowing it down, but the way that I did that was kind of clicked, and I went to speed duration, and you can see that it's at over 1300 speed. So this that I was showing you before, that's just at 100 speed, normal, and I made this one a lot faster, which I used for my actual video, because I wanted that appearance of a time lapse. So that's how I did that for that video. And let me see what are other things I can show you. So you can see that this is where all the video is on V1. That's just all like the video portion, the things that you can see, that's kind of on here. And then all these layers on top are just kind of overlays or things that I added over them that, you know, kind of make the filming more interesting, I suppose. So here's the video track, and then on V2, I have what I like to call fade. And I get a lot of questions about this, what kind of filter I use on my videos. And I actually don't use a filter. I just use this thing that I call fade, and it's really simple. So you can see right here, if I take this away, you can kind of see that this is a little bit more clear. It doesn't have that faded appearance, and I'll kind of like, it may be easier if I use it on the same video track, so you can see that switch over there. And this isn't anything that I downloaded. I'll open it up and I'll show you. So if I click on that thing that I've made, give me a second so you can see it a little bit more clearly. So if you click on this, you can see in this editor over here that there's this little box over here, and what that is, it's just a white box that I put over the video at a 1% opacity to give that faded appearance. So if I go over here, like here's opacity over here, if I change the opacity to 100, you can see that it's just a white box that I put over. So obviously I didn't want just a white box completely covering the video, so I put it at the lowest opacity that I could, and it doesn't really look like anything when you're seeing it in this little view. But if you go back to the video, when I place it on top of my video, it has that faded appearance. So that's one thing that I like to have in my videos. If you go further into the video, you can see here's just my title sequence. The fonts that I use, so this one right here is Avenir Roman, and then this font that I have in almost all of my videos is called Bohemian Lady. So yeah, you can see it right there. I really like that font. Just found it online. I just like to use it on all my videos. And if you go a little bit further, I've actually gotten a lot of questions about what these are in my title sequence. So I'm going to open that up, and I think it looks more complicated than it is because of the font that I've used. So the font that I've used to make this, these are just individual pieces that I have in one layer that I've placed as a title framer, to frame the title in my title sequence. And the font that I've used for that is called Crow Chief. But they're all just symbols that I've added in. I think this one is like a parentheses. I think this one is the @ symbol. So just so that makes a little bit more sense, I'm gonna kind of show you by putting it under a not as exciting font. So I'm gonna choose Arial. And you can see that this is just an asterisk. There's a percentage sign in there. There's the @ sign, like I said. The parentheses. This is a 1. So I don't know why I did this. I think I just thought it looked interesting, and then I was playing around with different fonts, and I thought that the Crow Chief font looked really cool when it was surrounding the text in all my videos. I think I did it for one video about a year ago, and I just really liked the way that it looked, so I kept it, and I have it in every title sequence of my video now. So that's what that is. And if you go a little bit further, something that I really like to have in my videos as well, this purple thing right here, it's just a flash transition. So when it comes to kind of transitioning between different topics in my video, so if you look at like this portion right here, I would consider that the title sequence, and then this longer version right here, this is just kind of the body of the video, and I like to split those up. So I have a flash transition in there to make that happen, to kind of give the illusion of, okay, well, we're moving on to something else now. So if I open that up, kind of make it, you can see that I have the opacity at 25% over here. And that's just because if I had it at 100%, it would kind of do what that white box fade that I had showed you earlier would do. It would just completely cover the video, and you would just see colors, and you wouldn't really see the video faded in the background. So I think I can give you a link for the flash transition that I used in the description down below. But yeah, that's just something that I like to have in my videos. And let's see, where is it? Oh, so it's right here. You can see if I click on it, you can actually see what it actually looks like. And yep, that's what it looks like, but when it's at 100% opacity. But since I didn't want it to just look like that, I want the background of my video to show, or I want my actual video to show, I have it at 25%, so you can still see what I'm doing in my video here. Okay, so I'm gonna go further down the line, and just more video cut up. I have another flash transition here, because it transitions from the body of the video to the ending title. So this title it's just something that I made a long time ago. It's actually just a JPEG that I made, I think in Photoshop or Illustrator a long time ago. I just use this, I copy and paste it from all my videos. I just have it as another file somewhere on my computer. You can just say that that's all my social media, and I just like to say thanks for watching after every video, so whoever is watching knows that my video is over. And then something that I've been doing recently in my video is just, you know, kind of showing you pieces of the video, but in black and white, because I think YouTube has gotten rid of their annotations, and they have kind of ending screen, and I don't like my ending screen to just be blank with kind of video suggestions. If you watch a lot of YouTube, then you know what I'm talking about. I wanted something going on in the background, so I just decided to put, this is just the first half, or the first beginning sequence of my video, but I just turned it into black and white. And the way that I did that was, if you go into effects here, and you go to Lumetri looks, I believe. Let's see. And you go to desaturation. I believe I put this blue filter on there. So have this video clicked. Yeah, you can see right here. This just kind of shows you what video effects you have on this particular piece of video that you have clicked. That was the filter that I used to make that blue. So if I deleted that, it would change back. But I'm choosing this desaturated filter and I'm putting it on there, and that's what's taking out the saturation. So yeah, I think that's pretty much the basic crux, I guess, of this video. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that you found it helpful, of course. If you have any other questions about anything that I talked about, then feel free to leave it in the comments down below. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!